Well, I'm going to mute you guys now. Again, you're not muted in real life, as you know. This is just so that it doesn't interfere with the sound of the class, and you can be very much in your own practice. But I'm Katsy, if we haven't met before, and as I mentioned, this is a yin class. If you are new to the yin practice, this is an opportunity for you to really feel a bit deeper into the poses. So we're not working on building strength in the asanas, so you don't really want to be gripping onto anything. In fact, the idea is that you begin to softly surrender more and more and more so that you can receive more and more and more. And this can be applicable to not just the yin practice, but also in how you go on through life as well. But there's a fine balance. Yeah. So my dad called me earlier today. I was looking for one of my books and he had it. And I think we can all kind of feel to some degree this like lack of personal connection from not being in the studios. And I was like, yeah, I mean, it's a bit hard. Like I teach online and I love teaching online. I love connecting with all of you guys. It has so many perks. And my dad was just like, well, sounds like you have to reinvent yourself. And I was like, okay. And my answer was like, I have reinvented myself. And I realized that even coming back with such a sharp response is actually showing that I have a bit of a limited perspective, because when you immediately think like, I am at my highest potential, I'm not that I don't think I am, but you know, you're creating like a boundary for yourself. And I've been reading this book, Living Deeply, and to be honest, I'm not even that deep in it, but I've already been a bit moved just from 2 chapters. It's amazing. But it has this whole idea that, you know, we are already whole beings, but based on experiences in life, we are distracted or we are affected in various ways, which can kind of limit us, it can close us down, or it can lead us not necessarily in the wrong direction, but slightly off of our path of purpose. So when it comes to transforming, the idea is that you don't necessarily have to change yourself, because you already are yourself, the self with the capital S. It's already there. You don't have to go necessarily like seeking outside. But in order to connect to it or to feel into it, you have to expand your mind. You have to connect to a greater sense of consciousness. So I think this is a really fun thing to play with in yin, because the poses can take you really, really deep. And at times you might think like, oh God, no way can I go like that far. And that already is a limited belief. But since we have the time, the space, and you have your body and you have your breath, see if you can go beyond the limitations of what your mind might project at first and navigate it in your own way. And that's what happens when you just become receptive. And hopefully, this will carry on in other ways in life as well, whether it's your work or it's your relationships or it's your self-development. There's many ways into which we can transform. Cool. So all glad that you're really here. Again, if you came in a bit on time, you were all on divine time, I suggest having a belt or your bathrobe belt or a scarf, just anything. You could use your shirt. I once was in a yoga class where I had to take leggings from the lost and found. So anything will work. Again, going outside the limited beliefs. Be creative. So let's start actually. I'm going to scoot back so you can see. Can you see my mat? Aha, so that would be important. We don't want to be that limited. You still need to see what's going on. But find a comfortable seat. Yeah, so just a seat where you won't be fidgeting. If you want to take a bolster or a pillow or a blanket underneath, you can. And you can close your eyes. So already you start to detach from your external world. And start to feel into your internal world. And sometimes, just even out of habit or just the moment we close our eyes and sit, we naturally deepen our breath. But see if before you shift your breath pattern, if you can start to notice how you are taking in or what you are taking in, the depth of what you are taking in, and how much you allow yourself to release. And this again can be information that carries with you throughout your day, because this is your natural breath pattern. And now just start to amplify your breath. Just to begin, just taking it in nice, long, and smooth, and notice where the breath starts to spread into the body. Naturally, it'll gravitate into places of familiarity, places that we feel very charged or energized. And notice as your exhale streams out that you feel a bit of softness around the face and the skin and the body. There's a gentle release, but you still have this strength at the core that holds you at your center. And even as your next breath comes in, you feel your spine elongating a bit more, as if there was a golden thread attached to the crown of your head that starts to pull you upright, nice and tall. And with your exhale, there's a descending of the energy and anchoring so that you feel your sits bones settling into the earth. And keep connecting these 2 points together, the sits bones of the earth, the crown of the head, with the ether, with your breath. And maybe you even start to feel as the inhales create a greater sense of expansion, as if you could radiate a bit more. And your exhales allow you to connect a bit deeper. You are sitting with the totality of who you are. And part of the benefits of yoga, and there are many doorways in which to connect to yourself. But one great benefit is that you start to see yourself, feel into yourself in various perspectives so that you really get to know yourself on a whole new level. And there's always more to explore. Now let's do a bit of breath work, just gentle breath work, so that you can start to become a bit more aware as the capacity as to how you can expand your lungs, which is the space that takes in this prana, this life force. So we'll do samavriti breathing, and we'll work on building it up. Many of you are very familiar with this breath, but in case you're new to it, the way it works is you inhale for a count, you hold the breath at the top, so you can inhale, you hold, and then you exhale, same count, and then you hold at the bottom. And I just drew a square because those of you that are familiar with this exercise, if you want to add on the visual element, you can imagine that there's a line drawing up as you inhale, holding, line draws over, exhale, line draws down, holding, line draws over. Yeah, so this way you also stimulate the third eye. And again, this is the place that helps to open up your perception as to how you see the world, as to how you see yourself. So we'll gradually work on taking more in, holding more, releasing more, and exhaling more. First, we start very simple, and the breath is done just in and out of the nose. You can bring your hands in Yan Mudra, index and thumb connect. This is the mudra of wisdom, higher intellect, and you can bring the palms down the thighs. Keep the spine straight, core engaged, crown of head lifting up. First, take a deep breath in to clear, and exhale everything out. Again, once more to clear, inhale. Exhale out. Now inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale out, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, breathe in, line draws up, 3, 4, hold, line draws over, 3, 4, exhale, line draws down, 3, 4, and hold, line connects, 3, 4, breathe in, create space, 3, 4, hold, connect to expansion, 3, 4, exhale, feel the release, 3, 4, and hold, connect to emptiness, 3, 4, getting deeper, breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, exhale out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe in, space, light, expansion. Fills your body up. Hold, connect to the totality of your being. Feel the energy buzzing brightly throughout yourself. Exhale out, feel the release, the letting go of what you no longer need to hold on to. And hold, connect to the stillness, the emptiness, the place of receptivity. Breathe in deeper, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Take it in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Exhale out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and hold. Concentrate on the frame that you've drawn at your third eye center. Keep your concentration there. Return to just a nice, easy breath. And you'll notice, if you drew the square, that it gradually started to expand as you started to expand what you were taking in, holding, releasing, and holding. In a way, this is a metaphor how you too can expand. And now within this frame that you've drawn, or perhaps just even see it in your third eye, this blank canvas, imagine for yourself how you wish to see yourself at this greater, higher potential. In this positive light. How do you carry yourself? What expression is there on the face? What does your daily routine look like? How is your connection to those around you? Most importantly, how does it feel? Now keep that vision there as if it was a seed that you have planted, and throughout the practice goes beyond your mat, you continue to nourish this visualization. And now allow your hands to float to your heart center, giving gratitude to yourself for showing up, being with the breath, being with the meditation, and honoring this visual of yourself, this higher sense of self. And in an effort to virtually connect together as one, we'll harmonize in singing the sound of Om. And Om is the seed sound for the third eye. So imagine that you are sending out this image to a greater source that can facilitate you along your path. Take a deep breath in to clear. Exhale out. Breathe in to sing. If you're feeling like a super yogi, you can meditate the entire class. It'll be about 75 minutes of meditation. Wouldn't hurt. Or we can create some movement, feel into our body. That is my resistant band. We will not be using that. So let's find ourselves on our mat. Actually, if you want to, just lie down on the mat. Sorry. We're going to start in Viparita Karani. So it's like legs up the wall, but don't use the wall because of what comes next. So all you have to do is just lay down on your back, like so, and extend your legs up towards the ceiling, like so. Very simple. And I'm going to use my phone as a timer. Oh, you can also press play on the playlist if you feel the call to have some music in the background. And what you're doing here in Legs Up the Wall is that you're resetting the nervous system. You may not feel any insane, burning sensation or release, but you are naturally surrendering a bit more, softening a bit more. And allow your eyes to be draped shut so you continue to work through your internal world. If you'd like to layer on a visual here, what you can do is imagine that there's this golden light or even a bright white light that starts to pull in through the balls of the feet, through the toes, across the soles of the feet, moving through the heels of the feet, shines down through the Achilles, through the calf, the back side of the knee, the hamstrings, back sides of the legs, curving around the glutes, spreading into the low back, starts to shine its way up through the spine, also spreading across the entire backside body, across the kidneys, the ribs, the back of the heart, between the shoulder blades, washing over the shoulder blades. The light continues down the back sides of the arms, the triceps, the elbows, top of the arm, the top of the hand. You can pull in more light through the fingertips. Feel it spreading down through the fingers, swirling there at the palm, the wrist, forearm, the eyes of the elbows, your biceps, into the armpits. And then it spreads back to the tops of the shoulders, into the cervical spine, the back side of the skull, the crown of your head. Pulls in more light. It shines across the forehead, the eyelids, the bridge of your nose, the sides of your nose, the cheeks, top of the lip, bottom lip, across the teeth. They become wider, brighter, so that you can express yourself with a smile. The light shines across the tongue, moving into the chin, down the front side of the throat, washing across the chest, healing the space of the heart. Light continues across the belly, to the space between the hips, the pelvic bowl, into your root. And the light continues to shine up across the quads, the thighs, the knees, shins, the top of the feet, and back into the toes. And you can continue to watch this light as it dazzles across the body as you again create this connection to the totality of yourself. Perhaps even this light begins to permeate on deeper levels. Start to feel it cleansing through the organs, into the bones, to the muscles, the ligaments, into the brain. If you find that you've lost light at any point in time, just reconnect to your breath. And wherever you feel the breath expanding into, let the light ride along with the wave of prana. And as you take your next deep breath in, imagine that you're pulling extra light from the external world, the cosmic forces, the higher source, and it starts to pull in through all the pores of your skin, and you imagine yourself glowing, radiating this light. And as you exhale, the light truly shines out and beyond you, so that you create this almost light shell. And now you'll start to take little circles with the feet. It doesn't matter which direction. It doesn't matter the size. Perhaps you start small though, and they can start to make their way to be a bit bigger. Imagine that you're almost like playing with this light energy around you as it starts to swirl over you like a halo. And then start to bend the knees, still continue with the circles. So then you start to massage through the low back. Take a few circles in the other direction, just for good measure. And then allow both knees to come right into the belly. You don't have to lift your head, but just wrap your arms around the shins. If that's too much, you can grab behind the thighs. This is fine. And take a deep breath in and feel the belly rise towards the thighs. And as you exhale, give yourself a little love squeeze and feel the compression. Keep the squeeze, but again, breathe in. And as you exhale, hug yourself a bit tighter. Again, breathing in. And exhale out. Let go of the shins, bring your feet down to the floor. Just press your feet down so that you can elevate your hips just a few centimeters and then slide your hips over towards the right. And then hug your right knee into the chest. It'll be a bit easier to hug it in. Breathe in, once again, belly rises. Exhale, squeeze, compress. And now let the right knee drape over towards the left as you take a spinal twist. From here, you can allow your left palm to guide the right knee down to the floor. And you extend your right arm out to the side. And we're twisting with intention. As the Manipura, third chakra, which is stimulated by the twist, this is also an energetic center that can facilitate your transformation as it taps you into your discipline, your ability to act so that you can take the steps forward. It's like living your passion almost. Taps you into your courage, your self-control. And also, coincidentally, your digestive system is here, which is how you transform your food into energy. The energy is what serves you, and then what doesn't serve you, it turns to waste. And this is applicable to your food and also to experiences in life. There's always something that enhances and something you can disregard. No need to assess your life in these moments. Just trust in the magic and the benefit and allow yourself to breathe very deep. So again, the energy can seep a bit deeper and continue to purify yourself. Try to keep both shoulder blades on the ground. Take a deep breath in where you are. Exhale out. Now we're going to continue to revolve ourselves. So you'll take your right hand and then you can slide it over your body. Imagine that your body was made of silk. And your right hand keeps reaching over towards the left. And you start to roll over onto your left side. And then you'll have to slide the left arm from underneath. And then you come onto your belly. And your right leg now is in a half frog position. So I'll show on my left because I understand you can't see the right. But it comes out to about a 90-degree angle and the foot is flexed out to the side. Yeah, with your right leg. So options here, as you take your rest, you can bring one cheek down to the floor. If you want to work deeper into the hip, you can bring the knee a bit higher, almost towards the armpit. But if you want to layer on a soft back bend, you can. You will want to move in this direction too if you want to stimulate more of the digestive system, as it will apply a little bit of pressure to the belly. But you can come into a sphinx, so you come into your elbows and your forearms, and you can be here and let the heart shine forward. We're just here for a bit of time, and another thing about yin is that your pose can change over time. That's why we don't put up the limited beliefs at first. The more you start to feel into yourself with your breath, the more you start to surrender, the easier it is to find depth. And then breathe into the capacity or beyond the capacity of yourself with a deep, 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 deep breath in. And exhale everything out. Now simply just slide your right foot back to meet your left. You're just lying here on the belly. And then you'll take your right arm and thread it over towards the left. And just like very lazy, like just start to roll over onto your right side. You might have to scoot your hips a little bit, but then drop your left knee over and you take a twist. Yeah. So now your left knee is crossing over the body so that you work into the descending colon. Just gives you the ability to release. Try to have both shoulders down. If it feels okay for the neck, you can gaze over towards the left. Ooh, snap, crackle, pop. You find yourself getting distracted. Again, just return to the breath so that in this breath, in the unnecessary clutter just washes through you. As I mentioned at the beginning of class, based on being human and just living life, we absorb a lot through all of our senses. Taste, smell, sight, listening, feeling. And while a lot of it can be serving, can be uplifting, it can challenge us and give valuable lessons, there's also a lot I believe we can agree that we don't need to see, we don't need to hear, we don't need to feel. And all of these things that have built up over time are naturally releasing. So be with yourself in the process, because the moment the mind starts to wander, that's where your energy flows. And you start to lose the benefits of what's within the pose, within yourself, within the breath. Just take a deep breath in. Exhale everything out. And now you allow your left hand to slide across the body over towards the right. And just continue to roll over. You might come off your mat. Think of it as a lesson of going beyond your limited space. And then once again, you come into half frog. I apologize, I forgot to mention, if half frog is too much, you can take half tree as well. You hear like a tree that went timber. Just find yourself in a position and just keep breathing with it so that your breath can, again, guide you to move a bit deeper. Allow yourself just to fully rest here. Deep breath in your half frog. Exhale everything out completely. From here, just slide your left foot back to meet your right. You can take a little wiggle here, massage the belly. And then from here, you're just going to, in your own way, roll over onto your back. I try to be so graceful. So here you are on your back. First, just take a happy baby. Reach for the outside edges of the feet. Pull the knees down to the outside of the ribs. Take a little rock here from side to side. And we're using this pose more as like a transition, so that's why I'm encouraging a bit of movement here. You can even play with extending one leg out and the other, so it's like a curious baby. You know, the baby is fully there, but they have to discover themselves in a whole new way. So imagine that you have this fresh perspective as you start to see how you become mobile. You might notice, oh, there's areas that need a bit of work, and that's great. Because when you see where there's places that need work to be done, there's clarity as to how you move forward. You can relax your curious baby. Take your strap, whatever you found at home that works for you, and you're going to extend your right leg up towards the ceiling and take the strap along the sole of the foot. For your left foot option, you can have the left sole of the foot down to the ground or extend your left leg out. Wow. And then this is the pose. I'll give you some variations in a moment, but first you can just wrap your hands around the strap. If your right leg still feels a bit tight, You can have softness in the knee. This is fine. Just take the first few moments here to arrive with your breath. We're going to bend the yin rules a little bit. Please don't report me to the gurus. I want to keep my job. But what you can do here, just to create more space in the backside leg, is as you inhale, think about lengthening through the leg, even just kind of pressing the ball of the foot up into the strap, as if your right leg could grow a bit longer. And as you exhale, you can bend the knee and even use your hands to give a little bit of resistance as you pull it in. This is optional. If you don't want to break the rules, stick with the traditional pose. And then you inhale, find length. Exhale, bend, pull in. It's still very meditative because your breath is very long and smooth. And you're watching the body move on its own. You're not forcing it, even though you might feel into some tightness. You're just slightly going outside of your comfort zone. Now we'll work to our limits. You can bend the elbows towards you and think of guiding the right foot closer towards the face. And then let the elbows come out to the side if you'd like. Just be with yourself, be with your breath. Breathe into the sensation. Your next breath in, let it be longer and deeper. And exhale everything out. Now just bring your right leg so it's right back over the hip, making a 90-degree angle. Take the strap into your left hand. Flex to the foot. Take your right hand on top of right below the right hip, on top of the hip flexor. Flex the toes back so you get a nice little stretch in the calf. I forgot to mention, if you don't have a strap, you can hang on to your calf, but I think you're intelligent enough that you figured out a way. But from here, it's very subtle. You just draw the right heel over towards the left, just a little bit. There's this perception sometimes in this pose where we think, oh, our right leg has to go all the way across the body. But when you do this, this is a twist. We already twisted in our practice today. And your hip is off the floor. And you're losing all the sweet sensation that you'll feel along the IT band. So keep the low back on the floor. Ground the hips and just feel into the outside edge of the right leg. Just hold here for one more sweet moment. Breathe in deep. Exhale out. Inhale, draw the right leg right back over the hip. Take the strap into the right hand. And if you want, you can even wrap it around the hand so you have a bit more of a grip. And then just take your left hand to your left hip, begin to anchor it down, and open your right leg out to the side. Oh, can't see you anymore. There we go. So your right leg might not go all the way to the floor at first, but do try to soften wherever you are. If the leg is up here, it's fine. That's why we hold it for a bit. We breathe deep. You start to open up through the inner thigh. Relax through your face and through your jaw. I understand you might be working into places that you haven't felt into today, but you want to move into them with receptivity. And if you are clenching your face, if you're holding your breath, you're actually not giving yourself the space to fully receive the benefits. Now, if you want to work on deepening your flexibility here in the pose, again, if and only if, what you can do is bend your elbows so that you start to pull the right toes up towards the shoulder. So it just works a greater rotation here. Take a deep breath in. Exhale everything out. And then breathe in once more so you let your inner thigh shine open. And with your exhale, slight engagement of the core as you start to lift your leg right back up. You might feel like you have a whole new leg and hip. And now you can remove the strap for a moment. Bend your right knee. Take a half happy baby. And then now bring the right foot, your choice. You can bring it into the left hand. So it's like a upside down pigeon that fell on its back. And if you want to work deeper, you can take both hands on the outside edge of the right foot and again start to pull the foot in towards you. And it's okay if it's here, this is fine. You can even keep it in the half happy baby if you want to just create soft rocking movement. We're breaking a lot of yin rules. But let's be real, there's so many rules, new rules that we have to follow these days. I think it's fine to break a few. So again, just my perception. But you can now take your right foot into your left elbow and maybe wrap your arms around and cradle the leg. And again, I'm just showing you how you can progressively work deeper. If this doesn't resonate with where you are at this moment, just know that it's a place that you can eventually find yourself in. But again, it just takes dedication, an open mind, steady breath. And you can trust me because once upon a time, my body was completely broken and I put myself back together. Well, a surgeon also helped, but I'll give the medical field some credit. But I had to feel into my body in a whole new way by coming to the yin practice, and being very patient with myself and breathing very deep. So you can do it too. One more sweet breath to where you feel the sensation. And exhale out. Now just release the right foot from wherever it is. Extend your right leg out, and you can bring softness into the knee, and just take some leg circles. Any free movement, you're just being like, oh wow, what happened? Yoga happened. Consciousness happened. And just for giggles, I love doing this. Just extend your right leg beside the left, and you might be like, holy Toledo. Now you might even be anxious to do your left side. Don't be anxious. Just take a deep breath in. Just notice. And exhale out. You can keep your right leg long if you like, or if you bent the knee before, you can bend your knee here. Extend your left leg up. Take your strap. Take it along the sole of the foot. And we just start like here. It can be at 90 degrees. Again, the knee can be softly bent. A lot of runners these days, so it can be extra sensational. Just grateful that you have this time to open yourself up, to feel into the numb, closed off places. You might notice how the left leg gradually moves towards the face. If you want to return also to the inhale, lengthening, exhale, bending the knee, you can. Another thing about transformation, which was mentioned in Living Deeply, is that we're always transforming, we're always evolving. But when we really tap into consciousness, we become very hyper aware of the subtleties, so that way you are connected to this gradual progression. And this way you transform with ease. And when you transform with ease, there's no shock to the system because you're with the flow. You are synchronized with the external source, external forces, and your internal force. It's when change happens suddenly and abruptly that our body can digest it as stress, as tension, which can be interesting to work with. You have the ability to transform that as well. You want to work deeper, feel free to give yourself an extra pull, guiding the left leg towards the face. Try to work the slight internal rotation as well of the inner thigh. The leg isn't turning out. So directly work with the back side of the leg. Take a deep breath in where you are. Exhale out. Inhale, bring the left leg right back on top of the hip, so the leg is 90 degrees. Switch the strap into your right hand. Flex back through the left foot, and if you slide the strap to the ball of the foot, you'll even get a nice calf stretch. Slide the left hand on top of the left hip flexor, right below the hip, help anchor it. And then just draw a little line with the heel of the foot over towards the right to work into the IT bend. Breathe some sweetness into the pose. Exhale out. Allow your left foot to come up. Switch the strap into your left hand. Right hand on top of the right hip. And now open your left leg out to the side. So you're working here into the inner thigh. And breathe. Try not to roll over. Keep the low back on the floor. And I'm sure you've noticed, but we've spent the whole class just rolling around on the floor. In other words, this is yoga you can do in bed. So when you wake up and you're unmotivated and you don't want to get out of bed, you can play this video and start to feel into yourself. I should have said beginning of class, or just lay down on your bed. And then you just go to bed in Shavasana. Don't let my blah, blah, blah distract you from what's going on into the body. Continue to breathe deep. Let your exhales with gravity take your leg a bit closer down towards the floor. A few more moments here. Breathe deep. Down. Light yourself up. Next breath in. Exhale out loud. Use your core, engage. Float the left leg up. Release the strap. Take a half happy baby. Reach for the outside edge of the foot. And yeah, you can extend, work with it. Feel free to stay with your half happy baby action. Or you take a hold of the outside edge of the foot with your hands. You flex through the foot and think of pulling the foot towards your chest. And take a little rock. And you can even take the right foot, oh no, this is your left foot into your right elbow and cradle it. Your pigeon on the back. And the higher you bring your foot up towards your face, the deeper the external rotation. So if you're like, this is insane, just keep the foot closer towards your belly button. It's just one of those moves that Dharma Mitra would put into the practice from time to time as preparation to put your legs behind your head. So, I mean, we're not doing that in class. I don't know what you're doing later, but yeah, just know you'll be prepared if the moment comes. But really, truly, breathe into what is happening there in the hip so that you start to loosen things up. Deep breath in. Exhale out. Release the foot. And just, you can bend the knee, just start to circle out, loosen up through the hip space. So sticking with the theme of not sitting up, you can extend your arms over your head. You can bend the left knee, foot on the floor, and then just start to roll over onto your belly. Those crystal balls. And we're going to work our way. This will be our final asana, aside from Shavasana. We're going to come into frog, Bakasana. So your knees come out to the side, and it can be a bit difficult just to slide into it like that. But If you need, you don't have to sit up all the way, but just bring your seat back and your knees underneath your hips. Turn your toes out, your heels in. And this might be it. Feel like a frog. Or start to slide your knees out to the side. If you have a blanket, this can also be very helpful. This is also why it would be very helpful just to do this whole class in bed. But Bekasana, frog, here you have it. You've done all the prep work necessary. You can also bring a bolster or a pillow underneath your belly if it feels very intense. Again, just a few pointers for frog. I understand that this is a pose that's very deep for many, but you are not a frog swimming out of this pose, meaning your knees shouldn't be far back like this. Try to pull them up in line with the hips. Try, yeah? That's the direction you want to go. Gravity will pull the knees further out so you can work more into the inner thighs. And we just enjoy it. And really allow the exhales to be a bit longer here, as this pose is really great for releasing as you work into the hips and the inner thighs. I'll read you something. Hello, story time. So this goes along with, this idea of transformation, and perhaps even at the beginning of class when you had this vision of yourself. And I know for me too, when I'm working, I mean, maybe I'm projecting, because for myself, when I want something, I see it and I expect it to happen like instantaneously, as if my manifestation powers were like expressed, and that's not quite how it works, right? So this is something again from the book Living Deeply, and how it talks about, as I mentioned before, that transformation, involves with the engagement of life in general into the subtleties. So they say, all the great traditions talk about this idea that somehow the ideal thing would be for every moment to be a revelation, every moment to be a mystical experience. But not because you're having visions, but because of the beauty of the moment. The beauty of this moment is very, very great, even in frog pose. It doesn't say even in frog pose, but it's applicable. But this is a very great opening, quite literally. Every microsecond of the conversation has the temptation for us to almost get lost in it. So these are good things. Hugging the dog, walking outside, or seeing that the real mysticism is here. So how can we even connect to the mysticism here in this pose, in this moment where it might feel a bit, at times, overly sensational? How can you connect to the sweetness and to the beauty of even this moment? You can do it here, you can do it anywhere. And seeing the beauty in everything is what connects us as a greater whole. It's what keeps our spirits lifted so that we can continue to create a positive impact in our life and to the lives around us and to the world around us as well. Take a deep breath in where you are. Exhale everything out. From here you can swim out of your frog. So just pull yourself forward, extend the legs back. You need to remove the bolster from underneath you, you can. Or even it's nice to take a little roll out. And now the time is 100% yours. You can take whatever you'd like to close out your practice. So you can just roll over onto your back. It could be interesting to re-explore Happy Baby if you want to take a Supta Baddha Konasana. Soles of feet together, knees wide. This is fine. Again, I always like to give the space and time for you to assess how you are physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, so that when you start to connect into your multi-dimensions, these levels of you, it's so much easier to navigate your energy, direct it, so that it serves you. And as you've started to settle down your rolling around or whatever movement you're doing, you can start to set yourself up for the Shavasana sound bath, which just means you need to be cozy. If you prefer to take a restorative pose as well, this is invited. This can also be really sweet. I'm going to go a little bit over time. If you believe in time, maybe time is creating a restriction for you and you have to be somewhere. If that's the case, take time for yourself to rest. Please reach out if you need me for anything, if you have questions. Katsi Shaman's website. But for everyone else, you can come into your relaxation. I would recommend, however, to turn down your playlist unless you want a remix. And you can turn up the volume on your computer because the sound is actually received in a lower frequency than my voice, so that you can take it all in. you are, close your eyes. Reconnect to that golden light that was spreading through your entire body at the beginning of class. As you breathe in, imagine that you are taking in not just gold and white, but rainbow light of energy through the pores of your skin. It starts to seep beneath the surface. It starts to nourish that seed that you planted at the beginning of class. And as you exhale, this colorful light energy continues to swirl through you, cleanse through you, beyond you, outside of you, creating a nice auric shell. And again, breathe in, draw in the light, draw in the colors, draw in the sensations. And as you exhale, this time like a snake. And again, inhaling, drawing it in, what nourishes you, what enhances you, the beauty of everything. And exhale. Inhaling and just receive. constitutes transformation of consciousness? What triggers transformation? How can we sustain the moments that move us beyond ourselves? And what impact do transformational experiences have on how we live our lives? Begin to deepen your breath where you are. And just start to feel into yourself. Feel into every aspect of you that perhaps you've even rediscovered in this course of time. There are times in the practice or in life where you might feel reborn. It's not always necessary to reinvent yourself. Look at it as a way as rediscovering yourself. The wholeness of you is already there. You're already feeling into it. You're already breathing into it. But it's a matter of awakening every aspect of you. And again, there's many doorways in which this can be perceived. The yoga and the meditation practice can be one. As you're feeling into yourself, you can start to make your way upright to an easy seat. My teacher once said to me, or to the class, that prayer is talking to God. God can be this higher source, whatever God is to you. But she said prayer is talking to God, and meditation is listening to God. So when we come to meditation, we aren't asking for anything. You're just allowing yourself to receive, to come into alignment, to feel into, again, the totality, the wholeness of who you are. It's just like plugging in your cell phone to recharge. You're recharging yourself as your sits bones plug into the earth, and the crown of the head reaches up towards the higher energies, the higher frequencies. Breathe into it all, embrace it all. And exhale, let it settle in. Breathe into it, familiarize yourself. And as you exhale, trust and know this position is always here for you to realign, to recharge, to rediscover whatever it is that you're seeking to connect to. But from here, we'll connect our palms at our heart center, coming full circle to how we started our practice. In a way of nourishing our seeds, nourishing ourselves, nourishing those around us all across the world. We'll celebrate in singing the sound of Om. Take a deep breath in to clear. Exhale out. Breathe in to sing. Om. Vielen Dank für alles. Thank you so much for staying, for joining me in the practice. Just a few announcements. This Thursday, I will be giving the sound bath. We will also be doing a positive mind meditation. So it's very lovely. And that way we can go deeper into the sound journey, deeper into connecting to the wholeness of the self. Otherwise, I will put my contact information there so you can reach out if you're into energy work, Reiki, oils, yoga love, playlist, the wholeness of it all. You can connect there. But thank you, thank you. And I'll see you guys. I will also